You're watching The It List Season 2, and I'm excited to be back. This season, we're going to bring you What's It, Who's Who, What's Up and Coming. We're also going to feature some places and bring you exciting stories ahead. Today's guests, our very first guests for this pod episode, are the Manipul brothers, Francis and Julius. Francis Manipul is known for his work on The Flash. He has provided covers for various titles, most notably for some G.I. Joe comics. In 2007, he signed an exclusive contract to work with DC Comics. But he also has a brother named Julius, who is also an artist. Through his art, whether it's through books, interior design, or installations, he aims to challenge the notion of homosexual narrative. So thanks guys for coming out today. I really appreciate it, and I thought about putting you together because it's really interesting to kind of have two brothers, very artistic, very known in your field, but have a different sort of like way of expressing art. So just tell me if you can go back to your childhood days, like how did you guys even get into it?
Our parents gave us comic books. Well, for me, I started tracing those Disney books with carbon paper. And I think I kind of just started with copying and rendering cartoons, and which is odd because most of our family thinks that I'm going to be like an animator, but that I ended up just doing contemporary art. So it's like a different form of creating artwork than my brother.
For me, same thing. Our parents bought us comic books in order to just help us with our English. And I'll be honest, like
And that's fun. It's not some boring like book that you have to read.
it is, yeah. Well, I mean, you know, I lost interest like when I was like a teenager, because you know you're a teenager. Yeah. And then
You got distracted.
yeah, but you know, like it's one of those things where, you know, as a kid, you watch all these things and you're like, oh, you know what, I want to do something for myself and do something for my family. And then I was like, you know what, all these movies I'm watching, all these kids from like a bad or inner city kind of things, like they play basketball. Yeah. I'm not exactly tall, so I wasn't going to be playing basketball. So I'm like, I can draw. Yeah. So that was actually a very concerted effort I was like, hey, you know, I think I'm pretty decent at this.
At what age at this point you were?
I was about like 15 or something like that. So yeah, that's how I got into it. I got into it purely from if I can't play basketball,
What I gotta do.
do this thing, I'm going to do that, and that's kind of how I got really into it.
You guys have different successes. I mean, last time we saw each other was at the Pride Parade, and you had your own exhibition.
Pride, yes.
I want to, take the time to talk about each of your work, and I know that you're trying to challenge notions of the homosexual narratives and
Homonormativity.
yeah. Can you please talk about that a little bit?
This show here from Cabinet of Curiosity. Basically, it basically talks about the struggles of queer identity within the diasporic queer colors. Basically, most of the queer narratives that we see are only portrayed through homonormative white lenses, which is, the gay white male, masculine. But I think most of the time, most of the voices that are not heard are queer of colors, basically. So as a queer Filipino who immigrated in Canada, going through this kind of idea of fitting in, and also feeling isolated within your own community was a bit of a challenge. So to me, my artwork really talks about what makes me who I am.
That's why I've seen your works. You have, even aside from the books that you have the interior design, the wallpapers, right?
Yes.
I love that. And then there's a bag.
Yes, there's the bag.
So can you talk about that? Sort of like what you've been working on lately?
The wallpaper work was from a group show that happened during Pride of last year. And the wallpaper basically is a narrative installation that talked about my marriage with my ex-husband and my divorce. So again, a lot of people talks about that equality of marriage, but some people forget there's also the divorce part within that equality, within that equation. And the Merces challenges the idea of genderfied objects and that kind of objectification of the body and the sexuality, and that kind of idea of when we purchase bags or brand name bags, we're like so obsessed with it, but why? So to me, I kind of like create that parallel between the commodity and what do we commoditize basically as people, as culture, as sexuality within itself.
So hold on to that thought because we're going to take a quick break, and after the break, we'll move on to Francis as well. CIS and Immigration has been established for more than 26 years. It is a one-stop service center for immigration service, student visa, and visitor visa.
We have been in immigration and citizenship cases for more than 26 years. We have licensed consultants and lawyers to help you to fulfill your dream to come to Canada. We are here to help.
Capture every step. Capture every achievement. Capture every milestone. Capture every moment through the eyes of a Canon.
And now I kind of want to talk about, Francis, you've been in the industry, you've won awards. So tell me, like, sort of, what is it like, the whole Batman? Have you even seen the movie, actually? The recent one? With...
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
I feel terrible because
Yeah.
I just saw Civil War last night, but I haven't seen Batman, Superman yet.
So you're the graphic artist, you're the writer. So what is it like, working for DC and your experience?
It's been great. I've been with them for a very long time now. These were the characters that I grew up with. So to have the chance to sort of shepherd them in the current modern times, to tell these stories that are kind of reflective of who I am, but at the same time, it's like I'm trying to write fun stories for people to enjoy. And I think as a fan, just to get to take control of these characters,
And tell their stories.
Yeah. I mean, like, obviously, because these characters they have to last for a long time, and they have lasted for a long time. So there's certain things that you can and can't do. So creatively, there's certain boundaries that you have to adhere to.
Like formulas for specific characters.
Yeah, well, the thing is that, like, if you're writing a novel or a graphic novel, a character goes through an emotional journey. By the time the story's finished, they're a completely different person. We can't do that in comics because by the time,
No.
if, as it changes creative teams by, like, in a year, it could be a completely unrecognizable character. So it's almost like writing for a TV show, right? Where you change everything around them, but you keep the character at their core the same, and it's about how they react to the ever-changing landscape of their own life.
And speaking of characters, do you have any favorite characters you kind of work on and you're married to?
Well, my favorite character was the Flash, and when I started working for DC, I've been asking for the character for years, and the year that I stopped asking is when they finally gave it to me. So
You're like, okay, I think he's mad. Oh no, what do we do? We want to keep him.
it was pretty long tenure. Probably I worked on the character for 4 years. It's probably the longest I've ever worked on a single character in comic books. I would have liked to have stayed longer, but as a creative person, you get kind of itchy. And there was this guy with pointy ears called Batman, and I'm like, oh man, that's something completely different, because the Flash is very lighthearted, and Batman is much more of a darker, complex character. So I wanted to give that one a try, and I did that for a year. And right now, my newest project is called Trinity. It will be starring Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman.
Oh, that's a handful.
Yeah.
How's that coming along?
It's been very hard, I'll be honest. Just because, it's 3 different offices you have to deal with, and you have to make sure that you kind of
No, but I mean story-wise, because
Yeah.
Batman, it's like Superman's Superman, but then there's Batman. Like, who am I supposed to pick? They're supposed to be like the best characters, and you throw in Superman there, Superwoman there, right?
Well, that's the best part about it. As a reader, you're not supposed to. Or you're supposed
okay.
to constantly go, oh, this guy's my favorite character, this girl's my favorite character, right? So the challenge comes from how do I make the challenges that they face are insurmountable because they're so powerful. So what you do is you challenge them emotionally. So every decision they have to make isn't based on, can I physically do this because they can?
Right.
It's, should I do this? Maybe I shouldn't. So.
That's a little bit deeper.
It's a bit. It's not as deep as my brother's work.
Yeah.
But you try to.
Well, with your brother's work, is it kind of like there's the exploration of the hero or or the heroine, as a matter of fact, and discovering exactly right, and maybe the expression is different, but the core of it is essentially exploring those things. But I'm also curious. Did you guys get along growing up, or you kind of like beat each other up?
We had our sister in the middle, so I
you
mean,
have
we
a
kind of.
Oh, okay. Or is she an artist too? I'm curious. Why did we bring her in here? I didn't know that.
She went the other way. I've seen
She's a
her
nurse.
draw.
No.
She is. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I've seen her draw, and she can draw, but she doesn't want to.
Okay.
Or fashion design, but
Yeah.
then it's like one of those things. Should I be a starving artist? Oh no. Okay.
But you guys are very
Like, okay, yes, we-
successful. Very, you kind of paved your own path.
Sure.
But I guess it just runs in the blood, the artistic. It came from your mom, dad?
Yeah, well, I mean, our dad is a writer and director in the Philippines, and my mom, our mom's an interior designer and artist. So
It's like a double whammy.
I guess, I mean, it could be that we were predisposed to not want money. So we're like, oh, let's be artists. But I mean, we've been very fortunate
Who
that.
doesn't want money? Come on, guys.
Yeah, we've been pretty fortunate that, like, the work that we've done has gotten us to a certain.
Level of success?
Yeah,
Don't
exactly.
be, so humble. We
so
know.
it's fun, every day you get up and you draw. This is something we would be doing for free, and instead, like, somebody pays us, so it's even better.
Okay, last question though. Oh, maybe two last questions. Curious, when you wake up in the morning, is that how do you get inspired? You're like, I'm doing this today. This is the character I'm gonna finish today, or some days you don't feel inspired. So what's the secret?
I guess looking at other artists for me, and it's like, oh, I feel a little bit behind, and then you just need that fire up your ass to kind of just keep on doing. Can I say yes? Sorry.
Yeah. We're just
just
gonna
did.
beat that.
Well, it's funny because, like, I mean, artistically, you look at other people's work to be inspired, but, like, realistically, I find that because you have to look at this equal parts as an art form, but also as a job. So every day I'll get up and I'll just work, and there's certain days where I just do not feel like it, but you power through, right? It's kind of like if you were a basketball player and you're in a shooting slump, you keep shooting. You don't just stop.
Like those
And-
guys doing construction right now, and
Yeah.
they're drilling, right?
They don't stop. They got to. That
can hear
hole
it.
is not going to get there if they don't keep drilling.
Right now, at the end of this month, there is Inside Out Film Festival that one of my work is going to be at Buddies in Bad Times. I believe it's the last Sunday of this month. And it's a compilation of several Canadian artists that basically has short art films.
Well, I have Trinity coming up, again, starring Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. It'll be out in September, I hope. And after that, they're actually compiling a giant omnibus of my Flash run. So it's going to be like 20-something issues in a giant, thick book. So it's going to be exciting.
Is there gonna be like a signing session somewhere?
I did a lot of that in the last few years, but I'm having a baby this year.
Yeah, congrats.
Thank you. So I'm going to be slowing down on any appearance.
Oh, okay. No more fan expo.
I think not for a while. I mean, like, I might have a baby strapped to my chest while I'm signing books. But for now, I think I kind of just want to relax, be at home, and chill out, Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
If you want to know more about Francis and Julius, follow them on Instagram. Stay tuned because after the break, this Pinoy hip hop group is back with something new. CIS and Immigration has been established for more than 26 years. It is a one-stop service center for immigration service, student visa, and visitor visa.
We have been in immigration and citizenship cases for more than 26 years. We have licensed consultants and lawyers to help you to fulfill your dream to come to Canada. We are here to help.
Capture every step. Capture every achievement. Capture every milestone. Capture every moment through the eyes of a Canon.
Keep your head up, little homie, don't worry about a thing. Life is a don't trip, cause everything will be okay. Just do the two
And that
steps,
video you
skip,
just watched
double
is called Pare Ayos Lang by Southeast Cartel. They are back for season 2 on the 8 list. Thanks guys. Thanks for coming over here. So can we just go around and introduce yourselves again? We've got Raideen, right?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Raideen.
Yeah, I go by the name of Buster, but some of these guys call me LeFou.
I'm Biggs. Yeah, you already know. It's franchise. SEC. Reggie. Yeah, if you don't know yet, it's P-Boy. Skills.
I think we're missing one person. Check. Yeah, I met him last time. He was there last time. But tell me, I really love the single Pare Ayos Lang, the one we just saw. Tell us, I love the video too. Tell us about it. Like, what inspired that?
Everybody around me, like especially sa buhay, here in Canada, like there's a lot of ups and downs, and everybody around me, they keep on saying that that thing, pare ayos lang, ayos lang yan, so I was like, and P-Boy, he actually made up that idea, that whole pare ayos lang, and then inintroduce niya sa akin yung beat. Sabi niya na, tol, pakinggan mo tong beat na to, man. And then he keep on doing that pare ayos lang thing. And it's so catchy. So me myself, I was also inspired by the whole yung ginawa niya sa song. So the next day, so I decided I'm gonna write on it. So I wrote the whole hook, like everything is just, okay, don't worry about a thing. But and then the next ko si P-Boy, sabi ko, tol, may natapos
Pare ayos
akong,
lang.
may natapos akong, yung hook, natapos ko yung hook.
Yeah.
Tapos pinarinig ko siya sa kanya pala. Tapos on the weekend, pinarinig ko sa buong grupo. And then, that's it.
People want to say something.
Well, yeah, because so when I was making it, I was more inspired into sharing positivity.
Yeah.
Kasi like we got into a point where we kind of plateaued ourselves. I'm like, oh, how do we inspire not just ourselves but people too, right? So kind of like, when we were having those issues back then, we can't write properly. We can't kind of get back to music. So we had to think of a very like clever idea to come back, right? So when we thought of those kind of songs, we should bring back like positivity and also like kind of the new originality. You know what I mean? Like new flavor to.
And the interesting part is that term is actually very common kahit Pilipinas are there, yung pare ayos lang. So it's people can identify with that, right? Like if you want to comfort someone or you're just joking your mind, you just say, hey, pare ayos lang. But it's
Yeah,
not,
like,
it's,
it
a good,
could
it's
be-
actually catchy.
It could be as simple as, I have a little problem here. It's all good, man. Pare ayos lang yan. Yeah, we could
So
deal with
parang
that.
kinagalog mo lang, it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good.
It's also inspired by Kendrick Lamar's "All Right." Like when I heard that song, I was like, man, how do you come up with that kind of music, right? So, pare ayos lang.
Is this gonna be part of, I guess, Black Sheep? We talk about that new album then.
The Black Sheep, or the theme behind it, we came up with last year because we basically were on a hiatus for about 2 years in terms of creating new music. And we were thinking, okay, what can we do differently? What can we do that hasn't been heard yet? Because we don't want to sound like everybody else, right? And from what we noticed living here, it's that, in terms of our music and the way we move is different from the rest of the Filipino community. So we kind of realized, we are different already, but like, how can we push that into something else, which turned out to be the Black Sheep album, or the idea behind it, right? But like, one of the people I think that should talk more about what Black Sheep really means would be Franchise. So.
Franchise, take it up, take the mic.
You already know. The real idea behind it is basically we're trying to take off people's mind off like labeling someone. Basically if you label them as a black sheep, ibig sabihin ano to, pasaway, whatever negative things you could think about this person, that is what a black sheep is in what society defines as a black sheep, right? But right now we're trying to prove the society that even black sheep, we have potential. We have potential to rise to the top, and that's what we're trying to prove behind this whole album.
So ilang tracks yung Black Sheep?
Right now, we're still in the process of shaping it. So we have a lot of songs already, but we still haven't decided, okay, what is going to be strictly into the album and what are we going to release as singles or as promo. So, but rest assured, the music that's going to be in the album are music that you guys would never have heard before, or the style is something you haven't heard on a regular when it comes to Filipino hip-hop.
Go back to your comment about there's a hiatus, so you guys didn't make music for a bit. But hold that thought, because we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with Essie. CIS and Immigration has been established for more than 26 years. It is a one-stop service center for immigration service, student visa, and visitor visa.
We have been in immigration and citizenship cases for more than 26 years. We have licensed consultants and lawyers to help you to fulfill your dream to come to Canada. We are here to help.
Capture every step. Capture every achievement. Capture every milestone. Capture every moment through the eyes of a Canon.
So you mentioned earlier that there has been sort of like a creative slump, maybe for 2 years, let's say. Talk about that experience and how come you guys weren't working for a bit?
Some artists, right? They come to a point where they're either plateau or it's hard to find inspiration or motivation to write again. And since we had such a huge gap when we made our first mixtape, first album, and then a mixtape. It took us kind of a while to get it back to that mode where we're hungrier, we're motivated, we want to push music. But it took a while, but when we got back to it, it was different. That's all I'm gonna say for now. I don't wanna give out too much for the album.
Actually, hindi yun break kasi we just during that time that we're trying to find ourselves, we're also building relationship with each other because we don't just want to be a rap group. We're all family here, and that's how we want to treat everybody who's supporting us, and that's how we want to inspire people, because we're all family.
And it's actually interesting for those of you who don't know how Southeast Cartel actually got formed. They were competing artists before. They were doing their own thing. And they realized, hey, why are we so segregated? And why are we doing different things? Why can't we just come together as a group and come up with great music? And that's why it's interesting to hear that some songs you're writing it with P-Boy, sometimes you're writing it with Rydeen or whatnot, right? And so with this new album that's coming out, I'm curious, you talked about yung parang the positivity feeling, but in terms of sound, how is it different from the first one?
The first one is basically we're just trying out different sounds, different types of hip hop, like, I don't know, down south style or like old school stuff. But this one, we have a particular type of feel of music that is kind of dark because the idea of Black Sheep, right? But then our message is kind of like it's the light, it inspires people.
In terms of your writing, I guess, do you have anything in particular that what is that word? Pinaghuhugutan. Halima.
Because of you guys. Wala.
But there's also that single, or Bangon Pilipino. Okay.
2 years ago. That was an old song, actually. Yeah, 2 years ago. Actually, for me, it just came out of nowhere. Well, I've been reading a lot I'm on Facebook a lot, so like I see the news feed and whatnot, and I see all those like people ranting about what's going on in the Philippines and stuff. Sabi ko, why not write a song about it and like inspire people to make a change, right?
So I heard you guys have a new song. Can you tell me about it?
So it's basically titled "Kill 'Em with Kindness," and the whole idea with the song is that as artists, you're always gonna have haters, right? And instead of taking the time to argue with them, or wasting your time trying to defend yourself, when really it's your art, you don't need to. So instead of arguing and trying to prove that you're better than them or better than what they say, what better way than to just kill them with success? Kill them with kindness. Be kind and do you, right? Reach for your goals, and in the end, no matter what they say, if you reach what you wanted to reach, that's all that matters to us.
Yeah, tungkol sa tugtog na Kill 'Em with Kindness, dun na lumabas talaga yung pagka-originality ng group, like everyone stepped up. So it started with Biggs, and then his hook, it inspired me to write my own. And then pagkatapos nun, yung mga style ng mga kagrupo namin, they just start changing, right?
The video itself is a lot different from Pare Ayos Lang. Where in Pare Ayos Lang, we're just kind of having fun, performing kind of live. But with Kill 'Em with Kindness, it's more of a story. And it actually starts off with a franchise coming out of the subway and meeting our friend Justin, who's performing on his guitar.
So SEC is going to perform an a cappella version of Pare Ayos Lang. Let's check it out.
Alright, y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
1, 2, Pare Ayos Lang.
Keep your head up, little homie, don't worry about a thing.
Ayos Lang.
Lights up, don't cause everything will be okay. Just do the 2-step, skip, bubbles up, and then you swerve on them. Like sheep to a D.I.E. We would do anything just to get us out of trouble.
Thank you. Hey guys.
Keep your head up,